WSTKS-FM Worldwide, digital collaborative learning for the 21st century. Hello again, everyone. Professor Schwartz here in the WSTKS-FM Worldwide studios. I've got a fresh mug of coffee at hand, and Onyx the cat is never far away, so let's get started with today's discussion, in which we will revisit the topic of collaborative learning, but in a bit more detail this time around. To kick things off, learning is a process that ensures an individual acquires the skills, knowledge, and experience to handle a given task now or in the future, and there are numerous ways that learning takes place. In the past, many instructors felt that learning independently was an intellectual method. Some teachers and professors still have this view, but a more current approach involves structuring learning in a way that enables learners to respond to each other's ideas, teach and learn from each other, and design projects of one sort or another in the process. This form of learning is often referred to as collaborative learning. At its most basic, collaborative learning involves teams of students working together to solve a problem, complete a task, or create something, as I've said already. Through collaborative learning, a variety of 21st century skills such as planning, organization, time management, decision-making, flexibility, and problem-solving are developed more distinctly and even become ingrained habits of thought and approach when it comes to the completion of almost any task. Fine, Professor Schwartz, I can hear you say, but how is that going to help me in the real world once I graduate? Well, consider the following. As the Resource Ed blog pointed out in a 2019 post, quote, "The world is already collaborating. From hackathons such as NASA's International Space Apps Challenge, to Kickstarter, to crowdsourcing or open office plans and carpools, the world in which we live increasingly shares its resources, ideas, and information for the common good. We have the technology to communicate more broadly than ever now, and the business world is using this to its advantage. It's time for the world of education to follow suit." End quote. Okay, but what is collaborative learning in more detail then? Think of it like this. Collaborative learning is a method of active learning that relies on the principle of two or more students coming together to work towards a common goal. Collaborative learning activities vary widely, but most focus on learners' exploration or application of the course material, not simply on the teacher or instructor's presentation of it. Students make individual progress through close work with each other. Students are accountable to one another and, with appropriate direction, self-manage their own learning. They also learn to better understand and anticipate difference, recognizing it in themselves and others, and use that difference to their advantage. Through collaborative learning, each student learns individually, while also learning as part of a team. Students are empowered in that they learn to adapt and manage the learning process themselves. It is students rather than the instructor who keep track of their learning and performance in the completion of various tasks through frequent communication with their teammates and the reflective process. A key feature of the collaborative approach is that it focuses mainly on deeper learning. Here is an example of what I mean by that. Rather than students independently cramming the night before a quiz or exam to memorize things like numbers, names, and dates of, for example, a scientific development, social issue, or historic event, information that many are likely to forget soon after taking the quiz or exam, students instead work together to learn about the context and underlying conditions that contribute to a particular development, event, or set of conditions, as well as possible after effects. Similarly, a student learning team might go on to develop practical solutions to a particular mathematical, scientific, or social issue as part of their work together. Collaborative learning, then, is about much more than simply spitting out bits and bytes of prior knowledge. At its best, the practice is about learning from each other through the creation and sharing of new perspectives and ways of thinking about any number of subject areas and issues facing us today. To distill all of this down into just a few sentences, collaborative learning is an ongoing democratic process in which all members of a student learning team move methodically from the initial brainstorming of possible ideas to the eventual completion of a project or projects for the course in which you are enrolled. Communication, timely planning, tight organization, delegation of duties, and time management, as well as problem solving and accountability, are vital parts of the collaborative process. It's important to remember that effective collaborative learning does not necessarily come easily, though. Making the mental shift to a new kind of learning experience might mean a change of mindset on your part is necessary. It's important to view the transition to a collaborative approach as a journey, however, which your student learning team embarks upon together. As you move through the collaborative process, your team will continually assess and refine its approaches, ultimately gaining skill in how effective collaboration works. Now, the interesting thing about the concept of collaborative learning that we've been talking about this morning is its continued relevance in the real world once you have graduated and have entered the globalized digital economy of the 21st century. Collaborative learning will remain an effective technique in that workplace where the same strategies you are cultivating right now can be used to boost your understanding, higher level thinking, and productivity as an employee who is part of a team or committee of some kind. So you can easily see how much of what you do in this particular course, besides learning about the specific subject matter under examination, has considerable bearing on your life outside of the classroom and off campus as you begin your professional life after graduation. The workplace of the future is now, and becoming skilled in the collaborative learning approach will help prepare you for it, regardless of the specific career you have in mind. And with that said, we come to the end of another WSTKS-FM Worldwide podcast for today. Thank you for joining me this time and every time. I'll see you in class, online, or during Zoom office hours if you drop by with a question. Have a safe and productive week in the meantime. With special regards from Onyx, the cat what am. So long, everybody. You've just heard a podcast from WSTKS-FM Worldwide. Digital collaborative learning for the 21st century.